Let me tell you something straight up. Nobody cares how tired you are. Nobody cares how hard your life is. Nobody cares how many times you've been knocked down. And nobody is coming to save you. You can cry, complain, make excuses, but life will keep moving forward without you. The truth is brutal, but it's simple. Nobody cares about your excuses. All they see is what you do. So stop explaining. Stop defending. Stop hoping someone will understand. Get up and get it done anyway. Every day, you wake up with a choice. A choice to step forward, to show up, to chase the version of yourself that you know you could become, or a choice to stay where you are, to do nothing, to stay stuck in your comfort zone. That choice is yours and yours alone. Excuses are easy, but results? They're earned. You either make progress or you make excuses. You can't do both. Too many people are sitting around waiting for motivation. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect feeling, the perfect plan. Let me save you some time. That moment isn't coming. The perfect time doesn't exist. The only time you've got is right now, right here. And what you do with this moment will decide everything. You think you're waiting for motivation? Motivation is waiting on you. It shows up after you start, not before. You see, everybody wants a win. Everybody wants success, respect, a better life. But very few are willing to sacrifice for it. They say they want more, but they're not willing to put down their phone. They're not willing to wake up early. They're not willing to go the extra mile. And so they stay where they are, trapped in the same life, with the same habits, telling the same story. I'll try again next time. And the next time never comes. You think champions were born that way? You think greatness just lands on your lap because you want it bad enough? No, champions are made in silence, in the dark, when no one is watching. They show up when it's cold, when it hurts, when they don't feel like it. They train their minds like warriors. They don't look for excuses. They don't care how they feel. They care about results. They care about growth. And they care about being better than they were yesterday. The difference between winners and the rest? It's not talent. It's not luck. It's consistency. It's showing up every day, even when it sucks. Especially when it sucks. The people you look up to? They weren't handed anything. They built everything through sweat, discipline, and relentless effort. Every drop of pain, every failed attempt, every day they felt like quitting but didn't. That's what built them. Let me ask you something. What's stopping you? Really? What's the reason you're not where you want to be? If you're being honest, it's not your boss, not your past, not your situation. It's you, your mindset, your habits, your choices. It's not that you can't do it. It's that you're not willing to pay the price. And here's the harsh reality. You don't get to have success without the struggle. You don't get to skip the work and still win. Excuses are comforting. They make you feel better in the short term. But in the long run, they rob you. They steal your future. They keep you stuck, spinning in circles. One excuse turns into another, and before you know it, 5 years have passed and nothing has changed. And deep down, you know it. You know you could have done more. You know you could have started earlier. And that guilt, it doesn't go away. But here's the good news. Right now, you can change everything. You can draw the line. You can decide that today is the day you stop waiting. You stop wishing. You stop hoping for it to get easier. Because it won't. What you do today, what you choose right now, will shape the person you become tomorrow. You don't need permission. You don't need anyone to believe in you. You just need to start with what you have, from where you are, and you need to be relentless. You'll have bad days. You'll be tired. You'll fail. That's all part of it. But the people who win, they show up anyway. They don't fold when life gets tough. They fight. They rise. They don't let fear stop them. They use fear as fuel. They don't care about being perfect. They care about pushing forward. Because that's what separates the average from the exceptional. Not talent, not opportunity, just grit. So if you're tired of your own excuses, good. That means you're ready. If you're sick of watching other people succeed while you sit back wondering when it'll be your turn, then maybe it's time to make it your turn. Maybe it's time to look in the mirror and finally take full responsibility. To stop saying one day and start saying today. No more waiting. No more watching. No more hoping for change. Be the change. Because at the end of the day, nobody's going to force you to grow. Nobody's going to drag you to your dreams. Nobody's going to push you when you're tired or pull you back when you're falling. That's your job. And if you don't do it, if you don't push through, then nothing changes. The same old story, the same old struggle, over and over. But if you rise now, if you choose to take control, not tomorrow, now, you'll begin building something real, something powerful, something no one can take away from you. It won't be easy. It's going to hurt, but it'll be worth it. You will discover strength you never knew you had. You'll see how far you can go when you stop letting fear, laziness, and self-doubt control your story. Because that's what they do. They whisper lies into your head. They tell you to rest a little longer, to wait for a better time, to play it safe. And for a while, it feels good, but comfort is a trap. The longer you stay in it, the harder it is to break out. And one day, you wake up and realize you've been standing still while life moved on without you. That's the cost of excuses. They don't just delay your progress. They erase it. They keep you stuck in patterns that destroy your momentum, your ambition, and eventually your confidence. Every time you choose an excuse over effort, you teach yourself to settle, to accept average, to live small. But you weren't meant for that. You weren't built to stay quiet, to live in the shadow of your potential. You were meant to rise, to take charge, to fight for a life that means something. That fight isn't won by shouting louder. It's won in the quiet, when nobody's watching, when no one's clapping for you, when rewards are far away, and the only thing you have is your own commitment. That's where success is built. Not in the spotlight, not when things are easy, but in the shadows, when it's cold, when you're exhausted, and when everything in you wants to stop. That's when you go harder. That's when you keep moving. That's when you separate yourself. Discipline is the key, not motivation. Motivation comes and goes. One day you feel fired up, the next you don't. But discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline shows up. Discipline works while others rest. Discipline builds when no one believes in you. If you want to change your life, if you want to build something that lasts, then you need to fall in love with discipline. You need to respect the grind. You need to show up, especially when you don't want to. The people who win, they're not different from you. They're just consistent. They made a choice, and they didn't let themselves off the hook. They made sacrifices when no one asked them to. They said no to parties, to distractions, to easy comfort, because their future meant more than their present. They chose pain now for freedom later. And that choice, that's available to you too. But you have to want it, not kind of want it, not wish for it. You have to want it like your life depends on it, because it does. Every second you waste is a second you don't get back. Every time you say, I'll do it tomorrow, you lose another opportunity to grow. Time doesn't care about your excuses. Time keeps ticking. And one day, the clock runs out, and all you're left with is a mirror and a question. Did I give it everything I had? There's no faking this. You can't cheat the process. You can't shortcut your way to greatness. And deep down, you know that. You know what needs to be done. You know what it's going to take. You just have to do it. You have to stop negotiating with yourself. Stop telling yourself, just 5 more minutes. Stop giving in to the voice that wants to stay safe. That voice is lying to you. That voice wants you to stay small. That voice is your enemy. Push through it. Every time you go against that voice, you grow. Every time you wake up early when your body begs you to sleep, every time you work when no one's watching, every time you keep going will be easier to quit. You are proving to yourself that you are stronger than your excuses. And that's where power comes from. Not from talent, not from luck, from work, from repetition, from the decision to show up again and again until something changes. And change will come. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week, but it will come if you stay with it, if you stay hungry, if you stay relentless. And when it comes, it won't be because someone gave it to you. It'll be because you earned it. You'll look back at every hard day, every moment of doubt, every time you thought about quitting but didn't, and you'll be proud. You'll know that everything you built is real, because you built it with your own two hands. So don't wait for signs. Don't wait for applause. Don't wait for someone to believe in you. That's not their job. It's yours. You have to be the one to believe, to move, to start. The ones who win, they don't wait for permission. They don't wait to feel ready. They act, they decide, they commit, and they keep going until the job is done. No drama, no complaining, just work. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. You will mess up. You will miss a step. You'll have days where you slip, where you don't hit your mark. That's okay. What matters is what you do next. Do you get back up? Do you get back on track? Or do you give up and slide back into old habits? The answer to that question decides everything. Not your mistakes, not your flaws, your response. So today, make a decision. A real one. No more talking. No more wishing. No more saying someday. Today is that day. Today is the moment you choose to stop being average, to stop waiting, to stop letting life happen to you. Today is the day you take control. Because nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's going to fight your battles. Nobody's going to hand you success. It's on you. It's always been on you. And once you accept that, once you embrace it, you become dangerous. Because when you finally stop waiting for the world to change and decide to change yourself, nothing can stop you. You realize you don't need anyone's approval, anyone's help, anyone's applause. You become self-powered. You stop looking around and start looking within. You stop blaming and start building. That shift, that quiet internal shift, it changes everything. You stop being a victim of your past and become the architect of your future. You stop saying, I can't, and start asking what's next. Your mindset becomes stronger, your focus sharper. You're no longer distracted by the noise around you because you've learned how to listen to the only voice that matters, your own. Not the voice that complains or doubts, but the one that pushes, the one that says, keep going, we're not done yet. And it's in those moments, the ones where everything feels heavy, where quitting would be so easy, that the real growth happens. Because anyone can keep going when it's easy. Anyone can show up when everything's working. But the people who win, the ones who actually make it, they keep going when it's hell. They push when there's no sign of progress. They work in silence while the world moves on without them. And one day, all that silent work starts speaking louder than any excuse ever could. You'll notice something else too. The excuses you used to hold on to, they start to feel weaker. They don't fit you anymore. They feel like clothes that are too small for the person you're becoming. That's how growth feels. You don't just change your results. You change your identity. You become someone who doesn't fold under pressure. Someone who doesn't back down when it hurts. Someone who doesn't need everything to be perfect to start moving forward. You build discipline like a muscle. It hurts at first. It's uncomfortable. But over time, it becomes who you are. You start waking up earlier, staying focused longer, training harder, thinking sharper. Your mind shifts from what if I fail to what if I don't give it my all? That mindset, that's how you separate yourself. That's how you stop being average. That's how you build something that lasts. Because here's the truth. Nobody is impressed by what you almost did. Nobody is clapping for plans you never acted on. Nobody respects dreams that died in your comfort zone. What people respect, what the world rewards, is execution, action, follow through, showing up every single day, whether it's raining, whether it hurts, whether it's lonely. You show up and you do the work because that's who you are now. And don't think for a second that you're too late, that you wasted too much time, that you failed too many times. That mindset is poison. It keeps you stuck in a loop of regret. But regret doesn't have to be your ending. It can be your turning point. You just have to choose. Choose to use it as fuel. Let it burn away your excuses and light the fire under your feet. Let every missed chance remind you what happens when you wait too long, and let that memory drive you to never let it happen again. The best time to begin was yesterday. The next best time is now. Not next week, not next month. Now, this very moment. Because this moment is all you truly have. And the truth is, you don't need more time. You need more action. You don't need more motivation. You need more discipline. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to take the first step, and then the next one, and the one after that. You stop living for comfort and start living for growth. You stop chasing easy and start chasing what builds you. You stop hiding from the grind and start embracing it, because now you understand something most people never do. Greatness is not hidden at the top of the mountain. It's forged step by step, in the climb, in the struggle, in the pain you push through when no one's watching. This process won't give you instant results. It's not supposed to. Real progress takes time. It takes patience. It takes consistency. You're not just working toward a goal. You're becoming someone new, someone stronger, someone who doesn't fold, doesn't make excuses, and doesn't settle. Every day you show up, even when it's hard, you're proving something to yourself, that you are capable of so much more than you thought. And it builds, slowly at first, a little progress, a little more belief. And then one day you look up and you're no longer the person who needed motivation to move. You're the person who moves no matter what. You don't rise when the world claps for you. You rise because you told yourself you would. You do it not for the likes, not for the praise, not for validation, but because you made a promise to yourself, and you're not in the business of breaking promises anymore. So no, nobody cares about your excuses. And that's a good thing, because once you realize that, you stop trying to explain yourself to others and start doing the work for yourself. You stop wasting energy on justifying why things aren't happening, and you use that energy to make them happen. You shift from being someone who talks about what they're going to do to someone who just does it. And once you become that kind of person, the kind who takes ownership of every win, every loss, every inch of progress, you become unstoppable. Not because everything is easy, but because nothing can break you. You've trained your mind to keep going. You've trained your body to keep working. You've trained your heart to stay strong when everything says quit. And that kind of strength doesn't come from shortcuts. It doesn't come from luck. It comes from choosing discipline over excuses. Again and again, keep going. You haven't come this far just to stop now. The road is long, and it's not supposed to be easy. But every step you take forward builds something unshakable inside you. Something the world can't give you, and can't take away either. Something earned. Something real. So as you keep walking this path, remind yourself, the pain is worth it. The sacrifice is worth it. The silence, the early mornings, the hard choices, they are all leading somewhere. They are all building toward the moment when everything starts to shift. Not all at once. Not like a scene in a movie where the music swells and your life magically changes overnight, but piece by piece, quietly, consistently, you notice your mind is sharper, your energy stronger. The things that used to break, you don't even shake you now. What used to be hard is now your routine. What used to feel impossible is now your baseline, because you didn't quit, because you stayed in the game when it was hard, when it was boring, when nobody was cheering. That's where your edge is. And that edge, that mindset, is something most people will never understand. Most people live for comfort. They chase shortcuts, avoid pain, and expect results without work. They're driven by how they feel. You're different now. You move regardless of how you feel. You've made the decision to stop reacting to life and start creating it. That's what separates the winners from the rest. Not skill, not privilege, not chance, but consistency and a refusal to settle. And let's be clear, this journey doesn't end. There's no finish line where it all becomes easy forever. There will always be new challenges, new fears, new mountains to climb. But now, you're not afraid to climb. You welcome it. You don't run from pressure. You perform under it. You don't wish for fewer problems. You get stronger, smarter, sharper so you can face them head on. That's the mindset of someone who has stopped making excuses and started owning every step forward. Because at this point, you realize nobody is standing in your way but you. It was never the world, never your circumstances, never the people around you. It was always your mindset, always your decision, always your discipline. The day you stopped waiting for someone else to change your life was the day everything began to change. Not because life suddenly became easier, but because you became tougher. And toughness is built in silence. It's built in the gym when no one's around. It's built in the hours you study, when everyone else is out partying. It's built when you show up early, stay late, push further than what's required. Not once, not sometimes, every single day. That repetition, that commitment, that's what builds your legacy. Not hype, not talk, not temporary effort. Work, real work. Every hour you've put in, every sacrifice you've made, it matters. Even when you can't see the results right away, even when progress feels slow, you keep building, brick by brick, habit by habit. And eventually, those small daily wins turn into major breakthroughs. Not because you hoped they would, but because you earned them. That's how champions are made. Quietly, patiently, relentlessly. You stop wishing you were someone else, living a different life, and start creating the life you want. You realize nobody else is going to build it for you. Nobody's handing you the dream. And honestly, you wouldn't want them to, because if you didn't earn it, you wouldn't respect it. It's the pain that makes it meaningful. The discipline that makes it valuable. The journey that makes it real. So yes, the grind is hard. It's exhausting. It's lonely. But it's also the most honest thing you'll ever do. It doesn't lie. It doesn't cheat. It doesn't care who you are or where you started. It gives back exactly what you put in. No more, no less. The grind is fair. It's raw. And it's the only road that leads to something real. When you feel like stopping, when the doubt creeps in, when the voice in your head tells you to take it easy, remember why you started. Remember the version of you who wanted more, who dreamed bigger, who believed that they were meant for something greater. That version of you is still in there. They just need you to fight for them, to protect them from the part of you that wants to settle. Because you're not doing this just for a better body, more money, or some kind of approval. You're doing this to become the kind of person who doesn't quit on themselves, who doesn't give up when it gets hard, who doesn't make excuses when things don't go their way. You're doing this to become the kind of person who keeps promises, especially the ones they make to themselves. And that kind of person, that's rare, that's powerful, that's unstoppable. You'll look around one day and realize that you're not competing with anyone anymore. You're not chasing someone else's success. You're not comparing your path to theirs. Because now, you understand, the only competition that matters is the one between you and the person you were yesterday. That's the real game. That's the real test. And every day, you wake up with a chance to win it. Not by being perfect, not by never falling, but by choosing again and again to rise, to grow, to push, to show up, to silence the excuses and move anyway. The world will keep tempting you with easier paths. It will keep offering comfort, distraction, and delay. But those things won't help you grow. They won't take you closer to your goals. They won't build the life you know you're capable of. Only you can do that. Only your discipline, your effort, and your refusal to quit can make that real. So when you feel the pull to give in, to back down, to coast through the day, remember this. Every excuse you entertain pulls you further from the person you're trying to become. Every time you choose comfort over growth, you're choosing a version of yourself that settles. And you didn't come this far to settle. You came to rise. You came to break patterns. You came to become something more than what you were yesterday. And that mission, it doesn't wait. It doesn't take breaks. It doesn't accept half effort. It only moves forward when you do. So push again. Go further. And know this. The pain will pass. The doubts will fade. But the pride of knowing you didn't quit, that stays with you forever. You're building something that most people will never have. Not because they couldn't, but because they didn't have the strength to silence their excuses. You do. You've shown it. You've proven it. And now, you have to keep going. Not for applause, not for attention, but for the person you're becoming, for the life you're building, for the standard you've chosen to live by. Because once you've seen what you're truly capable of, once you felt that power, that control, that freedom, you'll never want to go back to the old you, the one who waited, the one who hesitated, the one who made excuses. That version of you is gone. You've outgrown him. And now you're standing in front of the next challenge, the next level, the next version of you. And the only thing left to do is step up and meet it head on. Because at this point, there's no turning back. You've already come too far. You've already endured too much to start doubting now. That voice inside that once whispered hesitation, that once begged you quit, is now drowned out by action, by proof, by the undeniable truth that you can handle more than you ever imagined. And you've built that not by talking, not by waiting, but by showing up. And now, it's not even about motivation anymore. It's about identity. This is who you are now, a finisher, a fighter, a builder, someone who doesn't depend on luck or comfort, but on consistency and fire. You've trained yourself to move forward when everything else says stop. You've trained your mind to chase growth, not comfort. You've trained your spirit to rise, even when no one is watching, even when no one is clapping, even when it feels like no one cares. Because that's the truth. No one really does care, not at the start, not when you're struggling, not when you're invisible. The world watches results, not effort. But that's the advantage. That silence gives you space to build. That lack of attention gives you freedom to fail, to fall, to rise, to improve. While others wait for approval to move, you've already taken steps. While others hesitate, you've built habits. And by the time they see you, you're already 10 steps ahead. Not because you're better, but because you move when they paused. And don't let the struggle fool you. The hard days don't mean you're doing something wrong. They mean you're doing something real. Real growth hurts. Real transformation demands sacrifice. It pulls everything out of you, challenges your beliefs, exposes your weaknesses, and shows you exactly where you need to level up. That's the process. You don't get to skip that part. No one does. But the ones who push through it, they come out unrecognizable, stronger, wiser, unshakable. That's the reward most people never get to feel. Not just achieving the goal, but knowing who they became to get there. That quiet confidence, that grounded belief. It comes from facing every excuse, every fear, every failure, and walking through it anyway. That's where you build resilience. That's where you earn your edge. Not in the outcome, but in the path that got you there. And yes, you're going to lose some things along the way. Comfort, distractions, people who don't understand your grind. But what you gain is greater. You gain respect for yourself. You gain self-control. You gain momentum. You gain time, not in the hours you save, but in the years you buy back by not wasting them. Because nothing wastes your life faster than a steady stream of excuses and a refusal to take action. You start to value every minute, every rep, every effort. Not because it's flashy or exciting, but because it matters. You understand now that everything counts. Every choice stacks. Every action adds up. And the more you stay consistent, the more unstoppable you become. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger step by step, day by day. That's how champions are made. Quietly, through relentless self-discipline and complete ownership. Not just of their time, but of their attitude, their thoughts, their standards. They don't wait to feel ready. They act. They don't complain. They adjust. They don't avoid pain. They use it. And most of all, they don't make excuses. Ever. Because they understand that excuses are just delays dressed as reasons. And they don't have time to delay. Neither do you. And once you begin to live like that, it becomes impossible to go back. Once you've experienced progress, once you've tasted growth, once you've seen the results of real commitment, you can't unsee it. You can't unfeel it. It becomes your standard. Not just something you do, but something you live, something you are. The people who change their lives are the ones who take that mindset and protect it fiercely. They guard their time. They say no to things that don't serve the vision. They stop apologizing for their ambition. They stop explaining why they're not out partying, why they're working late, why they're up before the sun, because they don't need to explain. Their results speak for them. And eventually, they stop needing anyone to clap for them. They don't chase validation. They don't seek permission. They build for themselves, and they win for themselves. And that quiet kind of victory, it lasts because it's real, because it was built from pain, from perseverance, from every early morning, every lonely grind, every decision to push just a little further. That's what you're doing right now. With every choice, every action, every step, you're building that version of yourself. Not the version that waits, not the version that explains, but the version that executes, that endures, that never stops. You're not doing this for quick wins. You're not doing this for short-term applause. You're doing this to become someone who no longer needs excuses. Because excuses don't belong in the life you're building. They don't fit with your standards anymore. They don't match the level you're reaching for. And you've come too far to let them back in. So now, every time that old voice starts whispering again, the one that says it's too hard, too late, too much, you know exactly what to do. You shut it down. You stand up. You go again. Because you've made a choice. And that choice is simple. To keep moving forward no matter what. To keep rising. To keep grinding. To keep proving, mostly to yourself, that you are built for this. Not because it's easy. Not because it's fair. But because you're done living beneath your potential. You're done playing small. You're done hoping life will change. Now you're making it change. Step by step. Action by action. Day by day. You're becoming undeniable. And the world might not have noticed yet. But that's okay. Because you're not doing this for them. You're doing this because you refuse to be the same a year from now. You're doing this because you owe it to yourself to see what happens if you stop making excuses and start giving everything you've got. And the best part is, you're just getting started, and that's the truth. This is only the beginning. You've already done something most people never will. You stopped running. You stopped waiting. You took full responsibility. And that alone separates you from the crowd. But from here on out, it's not about potential anymore. It's about performance. It's about execution. It's about waking up every day and choosing to fight. Not for perfection, not for recognition, but for progress, for purpose, for the person you know you're capable of becoming. The road ahead won't be easy. You'll still face doubt. You'll still have days where you feel weak. You'll still hear the old voices calling you back to comfort. But now you know better. Now you're equipped because you've trained your mind. You've built discipline. You created something inside of you that can't be taken away. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your grind. You don't need anyone's validation to keep going. Because the real power comes from doing the work when no one's clapping. Showing up when no one's watching. Staying locked in when everything around you tries to pull you off course. That's what separates people who only talk about success from the ones who live it. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's not timing. It's the decision to stay committed when it's hard. It's the choice to keep pushing when excuses feel easy. It's the will to outlast the old version of yourself every single day. So when the voice of comfort calls, ignore it. When the excuse tries to slip in, shut it down. When life gets tough, and it will, stand firm. And remind yourself why you started. Remind yourself of the pain you've already survived, of the fire you've already walked through, of the strength you've already built. You didn't come this far to stop now. This is your moment, your climb, your fight, and no one's going to do it for you. But that's okay, because you don't need anyone else to believe in you. You believe in you. You've trained for this. You prepared for this. And now, you're ready to finish what you started. So rise up. No more waiting. No more wishing. No more excuses. Go be everything you said you would be. Go win.